Luigi is not good in Brawl. While he has great frame data and some surprisingly powerful KO moves, he's slow, he has poor range, he has low traction, giving him trouble out of shield, and Brawl has the most counterplay against combos in the series, which is not good for Luigi, a combo-centric character. Luigi often has to make successful reads on his opponent to combo them, and that is not ideal at all. Luigi's moves are a mixed bag. Some of his moves are genuinely great, but some of them are the exact opposite, and dash attack is as far to the opposite as you can go. But before I continue, I'm going to address something. Why aren't I covering the 64 melee versions of this move? Those versions of the move don't even have a stronger final hit. Well, first of all, everyone knows that, and if you didn't, now you do. Second of all, despite having a final hit, the Brawl version is actually worse in some ways than its predecessors. Anyway,
Let's go!
Luigi runs forward, flailing his arms. The move starts off with 6 weaker hits and ends off with a stronger final hit. The move comes out in frame 4, which is very fast for a dash attack, so that's good. The multi-hits deal 1% while the final hit deals 2% for a total of 8%, which is quite low, but I guess it could be worse. The move is also technically disjointed. While Luigi covers less than a quarter of final destination with a dash attack, which is quite bad for a dash attack, the hitboxes do reach further than the animation suggests, especially the final hit. This move does have one really nice trait, however, and that is the multi-hits have no hit lag outside of the initial hit frame. This has a couple of good effects. First of all, it means that the opponent can only get a single ASDI input when being hit, by holding the control stick in a certain direction. Second of all, it makes the multi-hits better on shield. I won't go into detail on how this works in this video, but basically, it makes the multi-hits 4 frames better on shield than if they had normal hit lag. This makes the multi-hits less punishable and harder to avoid, which is the only saving grace this move has. Now let's look at why this move is an abomination. Let's start off with a very basic issue this move has. It takes forever to complete. 68 frames to be exact. We were 1 frame away from niceness, just 1 frame. This gives the opponent all the time in the world to punish Luigi if it whiffs, even if the opponent has terrible reaction times. On shield, the final hit is -20. Which gives the opponent a decent amount of time to punish, especially since the move is almost no pushback on shield. If that's not good enough for you though, if you shield the first hit, most characters can spot dodge to avoid the rest of the move and then punish. This gives you a lot more time to punish, which can naturally lead to some bigger punishes. And if that's still not good enough for you, you can shield SDI the multi-hits to get behind Luigi, and then you will have even more time to punish. If you get behind Luigi after shield SDIing the first hit, this move goes from -20 on shield to -1 second. This is naturally highly technical, but if you somehow manage to pull it off, you literally get an entire second to hit Luigi out the move. Sure, he is moving forwards, but this is still an insane amount of time to punish. In both of these cases, you might get clipped by one of the later multi-hits. But even then, the hit stun is so low that you'll still have a lot of time to punish the move. Which brings me on to my next point.
Thanks for watching.
Alright, I'll explain more. The multi-hits have extremely low knockback at lower percents. So low that they don't even link into each other at 0%.
Yes.
Not even the 64 and melee versions of this move have this problem. And no, this has nothing to do with hit stun cancelling. Luckily, they do start linking at around 10 to 14% depending on the opponent's weight, but here's the thing. The 5th hit has a longer gap. The 6th hit has an even longer gap than that. And the final hit has the longest gap at 11 frames. 5 frames more than the gap between the earlier hits. I'm just going to show you the problem this causes.
Thanks for watching.
The opponent can shield the final hit on hit, right up until they are anywhere in between 70% to 100% depending on their weight. This isn't hard to do at all either. The final hit comes out on frame 48, so you have all the time in the world to react to getting hit and then shield. And what makes this even better is that if the first 6 hits are guaranteed and the final hit isn't, the opponent gets a free power shield on the final hit, which gives them an even bigger punish opportunity than they've shielded normally. Do I even need to say anything else? I don't, but I do have more to say. If you shield the 6th hit, you can actually grab Luigi out of the move if you have a frame 6 or 7 grab, which is most of the cast. You are better off just shielding the final hit and then punishing with most characters, but I still felt that this was worth pointing out. If you use this move too close to the opponent, they will fall out of the move while Luigi continues to move forwards. In this case, the move only deals 2% or even 1% with almost no hit stun. When you combine this with the move's super high ending lag, if Luigi only gets the first hit of dash attack, the opponent takes 1% and basically gets an entire second to punish Luigi before the dash attack ends. That is just Insane. But if you absolutely want to make sure that the move does not connect, you can just SDI the move. To be fair, you can only get one ASDI input for each hit due to a minimal hit lag, but this is still enough to get out the move consistently. And all you have to do to SDI the move is to either hold all the way left or all the way right. That's it. No destroying your joystick, just hold one direction. Towards Luigi is better if he lands at close range, while away from Luigi works better if he lands it from max range. This pretty much guarantees an already dysfunctional multi-hit move, which doesn't even work until you're at like 80%. Never works at all. What even is this move? There's one more thing I want to point out. You might think that this move would be more reliable against aerial opponents, as they cannot shield the move. Well, not really. The opponent can still SDI out the move and it is still very unreliable overall. Okay, I think I've said everything I've wanted to say about the multi-hits, but what about the final hit? First of all, I want to remind you that this hit comes out in frame 48. There's a massive gap between it and the previous hit, and the multi-hits don't even link into it until 70 to 100%, assuming the opponent doesn't SDI to avoid it. With that being said, you'd think that the final hit would be really strong to compensate, right? No! The final hit deals 2%, and while its knockback is decent at lower percents, it doesn't scale very well. What I do find kinda cute though is that the move's damage, angle and knockback are all the same as the 64 version's unused final hit, so that's kinda neat. I say kinda because those values aren't very impressive. The move does not kill at realistic percents, and by the time it does kill, the multi-hits have so much knockback that they knock the opponent too far away to even get hit by this final hit. This move just can't catch a break. The final hit is near impossible to land against a good player, and even if you do, the reward is not high at all. I will say this though, at lower percents, the move does not put the opponent into tumble, so if the final hit connects, Luigi is actually at a frame advantage. This sounds nice, but the issue, other than the final hit being avoidable on hit at lower percents, is that Luigi's approach is so bad that he gets nothing guaranteed after landing the final hit, unless the opponent has RCO lag, but that is such an extreme fringe case scenario that it's not even worth mentioning. Even though I just did. So Luigi's dash attack is very laggy, has extremely unreliable multi-hits, and the final hit isn't strong at all. So what uses does dash attack have? Well, first of all, Luigi has a somewhat notable dash attack cancelled up smash, also known as a DACUS. Luigi's dash does overall travel more distance than a regular running up smash, but here's a few things. 1! It doesn't cover that much more distance than a running up smash.
2.
You have to charge the up smash in order for there to be a noticeable difference. And 3. Luigi's Dacus window is only 2 frames, and if you mess it up, you are doing, well, this. As a result, while Luigi's Dacus is technically optimal to use when you can use it, it's not really worth doing overrunning for an extra few frames and then up smashing, as the distance increase is too insignificant, and messing it up is a death sentence. Another thing you can do is that if you cancel dash attack into a pivot grab out of an initial dash, Luigi will slide much further than he usually will. This can be useful, especially since Luigi's back throw is pretty strong in this game. But the difference in distance only really exists with an initial dash, and if you mess it up, dash attacks multi-hits can actually lock opponents. So if the opponent misses attack, you can hit them with a dash attack, and if the final hit misses, you can potentially get a big punish on the opponent. This sounds nice, but the final hit has to whiff in order for this to happen. And in almost all cases, the opponent can literally SDI the move in a way so the whole move connects. Fun! Luigi also has much better locking options if he doesn't need to run. But I guess this move can be used to lock from far distances. Even though your reward is 8% and weak horizontal knockback, with the opponent ending up on stage in the best case scenario, I guess you could also maybe use it as a horizontal anti-air, or to try and clang with other moves. But the move sucks so much that it's not even worth it in these areas, especially since Luigi has better options. Overall, Luigi's dash attack is one of the worst moves in the game. It's super unreliable, super laggy, and the final hit doesn't even kill. The few uses this move has are not only very situational, but they are also either very risky or very low reward. This move is basically an extreme risk, no reward move. This is the worst dash attack in the game, and it is Luigi's worst move in this game as well. And no, I don't think these moves are worse. Is it the worst version of Luigi's dash attack though? While it does have a final hit unlike the 64 and melee versions, the multi-hits might be the worst they've ever been, and the final hit barely even matters if you can almost never land it, not to mention how weak it is when you do land it. I don't know TBH, but it sure is pretty awful.
Thanks for watching.
Guys.